Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. This is part 8 of Rhetoric or Figures of Speech series. In this video, I shall discuss the previous year's questions. This video is meant for the students of semester 5 LCC BA General under the CBCS system, and here I shall discuss the question papers of Calcutta University. The question is set as identify the figures of speech. Okay? In such questions, you have to identify and also explain the figures of speech. This is from 2020 question paper. Number 1. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose made a fiery speech. This is a metaphor where an implicit comparison is made between two different things, theory and speech. The point of comparison is implied. Next question. Death lays his icy hands on king. This is a personification. Here, death, which is an abstract idea, is given the attributes of a human being or living being in the phrase lays his icy hands. Number 3. When I visited my friend, he offered me a cup. So this is a metonymy, and here the word cup is the container, but it actually refers to the thing that is contained in the cup. Hence, this is metonymy. I wandered lonely as a cloud. This is a simile. Here, I has been compared with cloud, two different things, and the point of comparison is mentioned as the word through the word as. So this is simile. Next, man proposes, God disposes. This is an antithesis. Here, the contrasted ideas man proposes and God disposes are placed in a balanced form. Next, the boy in the hospital is in good hands. This is a synecdoche, as here in this sentence, the word hands actually refers to the doctors. So a part is mentioned for the whole. This is synecdoche. Next, O wild west wind, thou breath of autumn's being. This is an apostrophe, as here an impassioned address is made to the west wind. Next, when President Abdul Kalam died, the whole town went to his funeral. This is metonymy. Here, the word town actually refers to the people of the town. Hence, this is a case of metonymy. This is the case of the container for the thing contained. Next, our sweetest songs are those that tell of saddest thought. This is a case of epigram. Here, a shocking contradiction is made in the apparent meaning of the sentence. Because how can our sweetest songs tell of the saddest thought? Next, he is the vulture of the state. This is an example of metaphor because here in this sentence, the person is he is compared with the vulture, the two different things, and the point of comparison is implied. Next, this class is more intelligent than the last one. This is an example of metonymy because the word class here actually refers to the people present in the class. So the people present in the class are more intelligent than the last one, right? So this is the case of the container for the thing contained. Next, her mother too, upon this occasion, felt pleasing distress. This is an example of oxymoron. Here, pleasing and distress, two contradictory terms, are juxtaposed. Hence, this is an oxymoron. Next, we have the 2021 question paper. First question. Brevity is the soul of wit. This is a metaphor where an implicit comparison is made between two different things, brevity and soul of wit. The point of comparison is implied. Okay. Next, to follow knowledge like a sinking star. This is an example of simile. Here, knowledge and sinking star, two different things, have been compared, and the point of comparison is mentioned through the word like. Next, united we stand, divided we fall. This is an antithesis. Here, two contradictory ideas, united we stand and divided we fall, are placed together in a balanced form for the sake of emphasis. Next, variety is the spice of life. This is an example of metaphor. Here, variety and spice, two different things, have been compared, and the point of comparison is implied. Next, the ocean heaved a sigh. This is an example of personification. Here, the ocean, which is an inanimate thing, has been given the attributes of a human being in the verb heaved. Okay. So, next example, thou wast not born for death, immortal bird. This is an example of apostrophe because here an impassioned address is made to the immortal bird. Next, full fathom 5 thy father lies. This is an example of alliteration. Here, the letter F is repeated in successive words. Next, the ploughman homeward plods his weary way. This is an example of transferred epithet because the word weary, the epithet weary, is here placed with way, but it actually belongs to the ploughman who was tired, right? So this is an example of transferred epithet. The marriage counselor filed for divorce. This is an example of innuendo. Here we find a severe innuendo on marriage counselors, and it insinuates that marriage counselors simply hasten divorce. They bring divorce rather. Okay. Next, this incident was an open secret. This is an oxymoron. Here, open and secret, two contradictory terms, are juxtaposed. Beauty is truth, truth beauty. This is an example of chiasmus. The order of words beauty is truth becomes inverse here when repeated in the same sentence and turns into truth beauty. Last question. Man must earn his bread by the sweat of his brow. This is an example of synecdoche. Here, This comes under the category of the species for the genus. Food is the genus of which bread is the species. Next, we are moving on to 2022 question paper. Number 1. Press wields great power. This is a metonymy. Here, press refers to newspapers actually. So, this comes under the category of the instrument or organ for the agent. Next, he drank from the fountain of youth. This is a metaphor. Here, fountain and youth, two different things, have been compared, and the point of comparison is implied. The thirsty earth soaks up the rain. This is an example of personification. Here, earth, which is an inanimate object, has been personified through the words thirsty and soaks up. Next, swiftly flies the feathered death. This is an example of metonymy. Here, feathered death means arrow. So the effect arrow is meant, but the cause death is mentioned. So this is a metonymy. Next, I will drink life to the lees. This is an example of metaphor. Here, life and lees, two different things, have been compared, and the point of comparison is implied. He is basking in the sun. This is also an example of metonymy. Here, the sun, which is the cause, is mentioned in the sentence, but it refers to the effect, that is the sunlight. He is basking in the sunlight. Next, all Arabia breeds from yonder box. This is also an example of metonymy. The place for its production, it comes under this category because Arabia is famous for perfumes. So here the poet refers to perfumes, but the place is mentioned in the sentence. Next, a man bowed down by 80 winters. This is a synecdoche, as here winters, which is part of the whole year, is mentioned in the sentence. Actually, the writer means to say a man bowed down by 80 years. Okay? So the part is mentioned for the whole, and that's why this is a synecdoche. The ship plows the sea. This is an example of metaphor. Here, the two different words, ship and plows, are compared with each other, and the point of comparison is implied. Next, our antagonist is our helper. This is an epigram because there is a shocking contradiction in the apparent meaning of the sentence. How can our antagonist be our helper? Hail to thee, blithe spirit. This is an example of apostrophe. Here, an impassioned address is made to the blithe spirit. Next, he is no fool. This is an example of litotes. In the sentence, a strong affirmative statement, intelligent, is made by the negation of its contrary, that is, no fool. Instead of saying he is intelligent, the writer says he is no fool. So a positive or affirmative statement is made by the negation of its contrary. Next, we are moving on to 2023 question paper. Number 1. The curfew tolls the knell of parting day. So this sentence is an example of personification and also an example of metaphor. The word curfew, which is an inanimate object, is given the attributes of a living being through the verb tolls, and hence this is a personification. And in the phrase parting day, here actually evening has been compared with parting day, and the comparison is implied, hence this is a metaphor. He is too fond of red tapeism. This is an example of metonymy. This comes under symbol for the thing symbolized. Red tapeism here symbolizes official routine work. Chill penury repressed their noble rage. This is an example of personification. Here, chill penury, which is an abstract idea, is given the attributes of a living being in the verb repressed. Next, O luxury, thou cursed by heaven's decree. This is an example of apostrophe. Here, an impassioned address is made to luxury. Life is bittersweet. This is an example of oxymoron. Two contradictory words, bitter and sweet, are juxtaposed in the sentence. Next, Sophocles had a prolific pen. This is an example of metonymy, because here the writer wants to say Sophocles had a prolific writing style. So the cause, which is pen, is mentioned for the effect, that is writing. Beware the fury of the patient man. This is an example of epigram. There is a shocking contradiction in the apparent meaning of the sentence. Like, how can the patient man be furious? Socrates drank the fatal cup. This is an example of metonymy. This comes under the category of container for the thing contained, because here fatal cup refers to the contents of the cup, that is poison. Man proposes, God disposes. This is an example of antithesis. Here, two contradictory ideas, man proposes and God disposes, are placed together in a sentence in a balanced form. The paths of glory lead but to the grave. This is an example of epigram. There is a shocking contradiction in the apparent meaning of the sentence, because how can paths of glory lead one to the grave? He was not the master but the slave of his speech. This is an example of antithesis. Here, two opposite words, master and slave, are placed together in a sentence in a balanced form. Nearly 100 hands are employed in this office. This is an example of synecdoche. It comes under the category of a part for the whole, because hands here refers to men. So 100 hands means 100 men or persons or people are employed in this office. So this is synecdoche, a part for the whole. So with this, we have completed the previous year's question papers under the CBCS system, and you can see that only one sentence is common. Like in 2020 or 2021, we have this sentence, man proposes, God disposes, and also in 2023. All the other sentences are different, but the figures of speech are quite similar. So, um, please stay tuned for the next video where I shall give some important lines for your final examination. And if you have found this video useful, then please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Keep watching, keep learning. Thank you all. All the best.